Hey everyone, Nina here from nb&ns, and welcome to our February content planning session. This is probably my favorite live that we do every month. We help you plan an entire month of content in less than an hour. So before I want to get started on planning the content, I want to give you 3 things that I want you to think about as you are coming up with ideas as we go through this training. So get a pen and paper and write these 3 things down. Okay, I'll give you a second. Go ahead, get that pen and paper. Okay, so when you are creating content out of all the ideas that you're going to get today, I want you to first of all ask yourself, does this content provide value? If your answer is no, stop and go back and pick something else. Your content must provide value. So now that you've said, yes, my content provides value, you can pass go, collect $200 to my next step. And the next thing I want you to write down is to create demand or to eliminate objections. So your content needs to first provide value and then either create demand or eliminate objections. So it's an and or for those two. So it must provide value and create demand, or provide value and eliminate objections. So write those 3 things down, and after you have all the wonderful ideas that we're going to talk about today, I want you to ask yourself those 3 points if that content hits those 3 points, okay? And you are going to see a massive difference in how your content performs if you hit those 3 points with your content, okay? And that's because we have to be strategic with our content to get results. It's not willy-nilly. We have to think about it. We have to have goals, and it's going to perform better for you when you are more strategic with your content, okay? Stephanie's asking to eliminate objections. So what eliminating objections means is I want you to write down all of the objections that people have before they buy your product. And Stephanie, tell me what you sell. But for instance, let's say I have a course about Facebook ads, and somebody's objection is, I can't afford Facebook ads, so I'm not going to buy your course about Facebook ads because I can't even afford to buy Facebook ads. But so then I would put out a piece of content that would talk about you can buy Facebook ads for as little as $5 a day for a week or 2. That eliminates that objection to the purchase of my Facebook ads course, because now they see that they can afford Facebook ads so that they can buy our product because we've eliminated that objection. So think about the things that stand in the way of your customers purchasing your product, and so how you can address those objections through content. So hopefully that helps, Stephanie. Okay, there's a bit of a delay when I see comments or not. Okay, so I like to keep these brainstorms interactive. So as we go through these ideas, I want you to share your ideas in the comments. I want to see them. I want you guys to talk amongst yourselves, because I think as we share ideas that we come up with for our businesses, it helps others spur ideas as well, because I'm here to help spur ideas for you, and I would love for you to share those ideas to help everyone who's here out to come up with ideas for their business. I want it to be a productive use of your time today. All right, so speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So we do have a content workbook that goes along with this lesson. If you have not downloaded it, you want to make sure that you click on the link in the description of this live. It's here or there, depending on what device you're watching this on, but you can download that content workbook, and it has everything that I'm talking about today and more in there, so make sure you get that workbook so you can follow along with this lesson. So I'm gonna start on page 2 of the workbook, and that is the month of February. And I'm not going to talk about all of the ideas. I just wrote down a couple things to kind of spur some ideas for you guys. So the first thing is American Heart Month. And so think about, is your business heart related? Is it health related? Can you help people have a healthier heart. Or maybe you have a personal story about somebody who maybe had heart disease in your family and how you've changed your life through either helping others with their heart health or how somebody else has helped you with your heart health. So that's a good time to tell a personal story, especially if it's tied to your type of business. You can share how your product or service helps with heart health. And there's also a Wear Red movement that goes along with National Heart Month. There's a lot of different heart-related holidays. There's Valentine's Day, but there's also the American Heart Association does a lot of events throughout February. That's a great idea, Taylor. They do events throughout February that are heart related, and one of them is wearing red. And so you could put together a heart health image. Maybe take all of your red products and do a flat lay image of them all together, or wear red and show a picture of you wearing red, or put together some different red outfits. So a red outfit for taking your kids to the park, a red outfit for work and date night. So you can put together these different red outfits, and they don't always have to be tied to these themes. These are just to help you spur ideas. If you can tie it to the theme, that's great. If you just come up with an idea from it, great. All right. So the next one I'm going to talk about is an Affair to Remember month. And you guys, this is a really old movie. Tell me in the comments if you know what movie this is. And the only reason that I know what movie this is one, because my mom really likes old movies, so we used to watch them a lot when I was a kid. But Sleepless in Seattle is one of my favorite movies of all time. In fact, my daughter's name is Nora, and part of the reason I named her that is because Nora Ephron, who wrote the movie. So anyway, they talk about that movie a ton in Sleepless in Seattle. And I was thinking, it's Valentine's Day. You could talk about, your favorite romantic movie. You could pull some quotes from An Affair to Remember, or even Sleepless in Seattle, if you're looking for maybe a different kind of quote for Valentine's Day or something like that. Okay. So the next one is Black History Month, and I saw some really great books. I was looking for books for my daughter and my nieces over the holidays that talked about powerful women, and I saw some really great books about Rosa Parks and scientists and that were African American. And so I think if you sell books, this would be a really great time to talk about the books that you have that have to do with Black History Month and sharing those books. You could do a Facebook Live about the book. You could post some things that maybe a conversation you had with your child about the book. So it's a really great month, I think, to talk about Black history, and if you have books that have to do with that. The next one is National Bake for Family Fun Month. And so something you could do is just share a favorite baking recipe that you like to make with your kids. If your audience are primarily mothers, you could talk about how to make it easier to bake with your children, especially if you're a Pampered Chef rep. Or, like I said, you just have a lot of audience members that are mothers. I know I have a couple friends who have nutritional businesses for children. And so that would be a great topic to talk about how to make it easier to bake with your kids, because I know I like to bake with my daughter, but she gets very bored about halfway through. So I pre-measure everything. So all she has to do is dump it in. So giving, recipes and tips on how to bake as a family, those would be all really fun ideas. The next one is National Cherry Month. So think about, do you sell cherry flavored or scented products? Do your products have cherries in them? Do you have cherry recipes? Or you could even tell a story about how you look at life as a bowl full of cherries and your positive outlook. Tiffany, it was National Bake for Family Fun Month. And like I said, all of this is in the content workbook. So you can download that from the link in the post description. Okay. So the next one is National Children's Dental Health Month. And I know that I have some audience here that works with pediatric dental companies. And so this is a huge one. You could create an entire series throughout the month that has to do with dental health for kids and kids' dental health. And for example, like my daughter, when we first started brushing her teeth, she hated it. But I found an Elmo video. It's the Brushy Brush song. If any of you are moms and you have little kids, she loved it and totally got into brushing her teeth. But you could give tips about, getting your kids to care about their health, health of their teeth, things like that. And I was thinking, even if you are a realtor, I know I have some realtors that come to these, you could go and interview pediatric dentists in your area, because if you sell homes in a certain area and you want to attract families to buy and sell homes in the area that you specialize in, interview some of the pediatric dentists in the area and just share valuable and helpful information about pediatric dental health. But you are also getting your name out to the dental practice and their clients if you interview that dentist, because they are likely going to share that interview that you do with their audience. So that would be a great way to cross promote your realty services and the dental health services. So partnering with businesses, with customers that are like yours but that do not compete with you, is always a great strategy. All right, the next one, I lost my place here. All right, is National Hot Breakfast Month. And again, if you have a business that has to do with health and wellness, this would be a great opportunity to share some make ahead meals for hot breakfast. I know a lot of us don't have time to have a hot breakfast in the morning. It's crazy. We get up, get ourselves ready, get our kids ready, and get them out the door. So share some recipes to make your audience's life easier, where they can have a hot breakfast. Or, I know there is a lady, she has a great course for entrepreneurs, making sure that you eat. And it sounds really silly, but I forget to eat all the time. And I've had to learn to have stuff on hand to make sure that I eat and that I eat healthily, because it helps me perform better in my business. And so that you could do, ideas to help entrepreneurs. Stephanie's asking, doing them all, at least 28 of them for each of the day. How often do you post? So Stephanie, it's really up to your discretion. I would look at how often you post on social media and then back into how much content that you need. I would say don't do, one theme every day for the entire month. I think that will get overwhelming for your audience. You should have a variety of content. So for some of these like month-long themes, maybe just pick one day a week that you're posting the content for that. But it's really, how often are you posting? Do you have buckets to fill? So for instance, I loosely have buckets that I fill. So I have like a Monday motivation, a tip Tuesday, training Thursday, personality Friday, and sell in a non-selly way on Sunday. And so I know I have those buckets I need to fill each week. And so I look at how I can work with some of this monthly content and incorporate it into those buckets. And I am going to talk a little bit about some strategy on managing all these ideas that you're getting at the end of this live. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. Okay, so the next one is Snack Food Month. And there's so much I feel like you can do with this. And again, health and wellness is kind of a no-brainer for it. You could talk about snack swaps and things like that. But you could maybe talk about, if you have audiences that are, again, moms, you could talk about snacks that you put together for your kids and different ways that you can put them together. Maybe if you sell books, you could put together a snack that goes along with the book, like it's a theme of the book. So you could do it that way. Again, with the entrepreneur thing, I forget to eat and I will just I keep snacks on my desk, but sometimes that's, candy ginger is not going to be filling or healthy for me. And so if you have an entrepreneur audience, you could talk about different snacks that help you perform better, or if, they're an athlete, how they can perform better, for your kids to perform better at school. Like I was just speaking to a company that creates training and tutoring for kids. And so you could even just talk about snacks that help kids do better at school and things like that. So there's a bunch of ideas that you can do there. The next one is National Weddings Month. So if you deal with brides at all, you're a photographer, you sell makeup, skincare, jewelry, any little things that you can make into gifts for wedding party favors and things like that, this is the month. So come up with, different ideas that you can do this month, and talking about National Weddings Month. And again, I really like the idea of partnering with like businesses to help grow your business. So I actually did a training for Lila Rose, they make the hair accessories company this week. I did a corporate training for them, and we talked about how they could partner with bridal shop owners and talk about wedding trends and, what are the new things in the wedding trends with, dresses and veils, and then incorporate how they could use the hair clips and incorporate that into it. I talked about how they could partner with a hairstylist and talk about the different ways that maybe they could do their hair on their own for their wedding day. Not everyone can go get their hair done, or how their bridesmaids can do their own hair, and talk about different, easy styles that they can do, and then incorporating the barrette in there. So if you have a wedding related business, think about doing some tutorials and partnering with partner businesses, talking about the trends for weddings. I know a lot of people, including my cousin, got engaged over the holidays, and so there are a lot of people planning weddings and getting married. You can actually target ads on Facebook by people who were recently engaged, which is an awesome targeting tool if you target people who are getting married, brides, and wedding related stuff. Okay. Remember, I got all of these ideas. They are in the content workbook. I'm going to keep going. We're moving into the weeks in February, but just wanted to remind you that they are all in the content workbook. And also there's a bunch more of these on nationaldaycalendar.com. I just kind of pull the ones I think are a little bit more relevant. So, all right. Jumping into the weeks in February. So the week of February 1st is U.S. Snow Sculpting Month, and I live in Arizona, so I am not a snow connoisseur, but you could, do a lot of different ideas with Snow Sculpting Month, so do something fun. I was thinking for any of you who maybe have a brick and mortar location, and if you have snow in your area, maybe you could host like a snowman sculpting contest in the front yard of an open house if you're a realtor, or just in the, an open area in front of your business. So it gets people physically to your business. You could serve them hot chocolate. And it's a great way to just kind of get people to show up and do something fun. I know a lot of businesses and churches here in Phoenix will truck snow down from up north, and my daughter loves going and playing in the snow. So maybe if you don't have snow, you could even do something like that, but it gets people to your business. If you don't have a physical location, you could sculpt a snowman and dress them in your product, or have them holding your product, or do something fun like that, or sculpt. If you're really creative, you could sculpt your product out of snow. I don't know, lots of stuff. The next one is International Networking Week, and this is the week of February 6th. And you could plan to do some networking, share with your audience when and where you're going. There's a local entrepreneur here in Phoenix, and she is going to an event with an author who's going to be in town, and she just invited all of her followers and was like, hey, if you're in Phoenix, I would love to meet you. Let's go to this event with this author. It'd be really fun to do. So find a networking event in your area and then invite your followers to come meet you there. That'll give you an opportunity to meet with them in person. Or if you have people that are professionals and you have a business that can help them with tips on how to network better, you could talk about tips on how to network better, or even, again, partnering with somebody who is maybe a networking professional and come onto your Facebook Live or come onto your blog and give your audience tips on how to network better. All right. The next one, the week of February 13th, is the Westminster Dog Show. And so if you have a business or a product that has anything to do with pets or dogs, this would be a really fun week to do, like maybe a fun little marketing campaign. So you could do something, interview all of the people that work at your business or some of your favorite customers or clients and ask them about their dogs and maybe like special talents that they have. You could even maybe do like a little promo contest, like which dog has the best sit, and have people vote. I don't know dog show stuff. You could talk about, caring for your pet and how the show dogs have, beautiful groomed hair cuts and things like that, and maybe like an at-home hack to better groom your pet or something like that. That's not necessarily, looks like the way they like groom the poodle or something. So I don't know, different things that you can do there if you have a pet related business. And then on the week of February 12th is Pay Your Bills Week. And I'm thinking of my financial business owners, my bookkeepers. This would be a really great week to give advice about, paying your bills and bookkeeping and managing your money and things like that. Or even just sharing, I know that I have some direct sellers here. You could share with your team, better ways to, collect payments, get paid, get your bills paid, how to manage your money and things like that. So different things you can do with Pay Your Bills Week. Okay, so how are you guys doing? We have a couple more sections, but I just wanted to check in. If you guys are getting lots of ideas, I would love, share like one idea that you've got so far. I'd love to check in and see them. I've seen a couple rolling in, but put them in the comments. I'd love to see them. Okay, I'm gonna take a drink of water and move on to days. All right, so the days in February. February 2nd is Groundhog Day. And who loves that movie? Like, I love that movie. I saw a really funny meme the other day that said that they should release Groundhog Day again and say it was new, but it's really just Groundhog Day. I thought it was funny. I just totally did not execute that joke well. So anyway, sorry. Moving on. Okay. So for Groundhog Day, think of, does your business have to do with the weather? Do you have products that are either winter that you need to offload or spring related? So you could talk about either escaping winter if the groundhog decides that winter is going to be a few more weeks, or you could talk about getting ready for spring if the groundhog says that spring is coming. So just think about using it as a springboard for either talking about, oh no, we have a few more weeks of winter and how do we manage that? How do we escape it? Or yay, spring is coming, and how are all of the things that we can do to prepare for spring. So just kind of use that as a jumping off point. February 2nd is also National Wear Red Day, which I talked about earlier, some ideas there. February 4th is Thank a Mail Carrier Day. So think about, do you send out packages to your customers? Are you somebody who has a physical product that you ship it? So you could, take a picture of all of the packages that you have going out, and maybe you leave a little gift for your mail person that day and say, hey, this is the person that makes sure that all of my stuff gets to you, so I wanted to say thank you. Just show the boxes overflowing of the stuff that you are shipping out that day. Or I personally hate going to the post office, so you could talk about tips for business owners who have to ship out a lot of product and ways to manage that better. The next one, February 4th, I believe, is the Super Bowl. And I wanted to give you some advice for Super Bowl because the NFL is very, very protective of the term Super Bowl. It's trademarked and copyrighted, whatever one that is. So you cannot use it. And you have to be careful. I would just say don't use it. I would be careful if you do use it. So essentially, the NFL does not want anyone to use the word Super Bowl if it somehow implies that you or your product are tied to the Super Bowl. So you cannot say, we're having a Super Bowl party, because it essentially, in their eyes, says that it is sponsored by the NFL because it is from the Super Bowl. So you need to be very, very careful about if you use the word Super Bowl. It should not be implied in any legal manner that you are tied with the Super Bowl. I just tend to stay away from it at all. You don't think the NFL comes after little people? They do. So just don't use it. Is probably your big practice. But you could, say something like, yeah, you can't say Super Bowl party, especially if you're using it in the essence of your business, because technically they see it as you are affiliated. You are saying you are affiliated and is sponsored by Super Bowl. They're super strict on that. And maybe I'll post something about that on our page to give a little bit more clarification, because I just wanted to point it out. But you have to be really, really careful with the usage of Super Bowl. So you can do things like, hey, there's a big sports event on today. You can get kind of creative with it. So keep that in mind. You know what? I will do a post about it so it's more clear, because I want to be very clear about how you can and cannot use it. Michelle, you even have to be careful with some play on words sometimes. actually. Those lawyers, sometimes. I'm actually going to have an attorney on to talk about copyright in a couple weeks. So look forward to that. It'll be really great. We're going to cover like what kind of images you can use and which ones you can't and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about it. Okay. All right. So the next one is, I lost my place here, is World Nutella Day, and who doesn't love Nutella? So again, if you are like a health related, you could talk about Nutella. In the past, I would have said you could have done like a Nutella poll, but Facebook doesn't like those engagement posts anymore. So I wouldn't suggest doing that unless it's relevant to your business. The next one is National Home Warranty Day. And so I'm thinking of my realtor friends here. It would be a really great opportunity to help educate your customers and clients about home warranties, what they mean, maybe bring on an expert guest to talk about it, something like that. And the next one that I really am excited about is Tiffany. They do like polls. They don't like what is considered engagement bait. And what is considered engagement bait, we actually did a live about it a couple weeks ago, so I'll link it in the comments when I'm done here. But if it is not relevant to your business and you are posting something solely for the purpose of engagement, so getting people to comment and like and share, that is not valuable or relevant to your business, Facebook will actually penalize you. So I will post a link to that Facebook Live in there. We just have to be really careful about that. Okay. So the next one is National Inventors Day. And I love this one because almost any of us can come up with an idea of somebody who invented something that has to do with our business. And that could be really fun to talk about, you know, who invented, you know, braces, who invented, I don't know, all sorts of ideas. So who invented a camera if you're a photographer? So find, you know, something that has to do with your business. Maybe you invented something. That could be a really cool story to talk about. But talk about how something was invented that has to do with your industry or business, and that could be really interesting. The 12th is National Clean Out Your Computer Day. So maybe you talk about productivity or organization, or maybe that's a topic that your audience would be interested in. And so talk about, you know, some ways to get to inbox zero, which is something I will never get to, I don't think. I'm just going to accept I will never hit inbox zero unless I open up a new email account, and for the first 5 seconds of it, it'll be at inbox zero. So you could talk about, you know, different ways to organize files on your computer, organize your email, things like that, or have a guest on to talk about that. The next one is National Drink Wine Day. And so I know that I have a lot of reps who sell wine on here. So perfect day to talk about National Drink Wine Day. But what I do want you to do is just think about, for National Drink Wine Day, a lot of people are going to be talking about that day. So how can you stand out? How can you maybe do something a little bit different than everyone else? Go out and look at what people are talking about when it comes to drinking wine and brainstorm some ideas that you can do that are different or a little off the wall so that you can stand out on that day. The next one is National Lash Day. And so I'm thinking about my like Rodan Fields gals, my makeup gals. You can talk about lashes. Maybe you own a salon and you can talk about your lash services, things like that, different tips on preserving your lashes and growing your lashes and making them stand out. The next one is President's Day. So I know a lot of people do sales on President's Day. So if you are thinking about doing a sale, make sure that you are thinking about it ahead of time. We do have a live and a blog post that we did talking about how to create a holiday campaign, and it was geared towards Christmas. But the strategies and tactics in that would actually be transferable to any type of sale that you do. So if you're thinking about doing a President's sale, I will post that in the comments, so you can check that out. National Margarita Day, National Tell a Fairy Tale Day. So I thought that this could be really fun as a springboard. Again, you don't necessarily have to do what the day is. I just want you to come up with ideas and use these as inspiration. So I was thinking for National Tell a Fairy Tale Day, there's two things I was thinking of. One, if you sell books, you could, just talk about the different fairy tales that you have available, but maybe tell the story behind the fairy tale, like who wrote it, or something that I find really interesting about fairy tales is that the origins of the fairy tales, and a lot of them are actually really dark, and it's really interesting how we tell these stories to our children, and they actually come from a really dark place. So you could actually tell, the origins of the fairy tale. The second idea that we're back. Okay. Facebook's been having issues. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. So for fairy tales, so I was thinking, we all grow up being told these fairy tales, and we know that you have to work hard to live happily ever after, and we don't always live happily ever after. So I think it would be a good opportunity to maybe share your story, think of inspiring your audience with your story about how, maybe you started your business or why you started your business. So again, these are ideas just to kind of like springboard ideas there. And I'm so sorry, I don't know if it's my internet, which I have been having issues with, or I'm back, okay. And then, so now we're gonna move on to our February themes, and hopefully we stay okay here. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So our themes to think about this month: Super Bowl, Valentine's Day. So don't just think about Valentine's Day, but think about customer love. Think about love on the big theme. There's chocolates and roses and champagne, fine dining, date night ideas, going to the spa, flowers. There's a lot of these topics that kind of are around Valentine's Day, but aren't necessarily Valentine's Day themed. So, when you are thinking about your themes for the month, you really want to think about the state of mind that your customers are in during this time of the month. So a lot of them are still in winter months, and they are planning an escape to a tropical location. There's a lot of travel booking that happens this time of year because people are tired of the cold and they want to travel. It's Valentine's Day, but like I said, people are thinking about love and flowers and chocolate and eating out, the fancy kind of the luxury type of meals, things like that. The Winter Olympics are happening. So can you, again, I'm going to do a blog post about this because the Olympics are something else that are trademarked that you cannot use in your marketing. So I'm going to do a blog post on that, you guys. But the Winter Olympics are happening, so can you tie into that? There's Mardi Gras, Heart Health. It's award season. There's the Golden Globes, the Emmys, the SAG Awards. So all of that stuff. So think about all of these things that are going on during this month. Does your business fit in, and even like an exterior way? What mindset are your customers and clients in? Like for me, I know that I've got to start getting my taxes together. So I'm in that mindset of I really don't want to do it, and I know I have to do it. So what are the things that can help make it easier for me? I've seen a lot of bookkeepers are putting stuff out right now, which is perfect timing because all of us as business owners know that that dreaded day is coming up and we need to get our taxes in. So think about that stuff as you are planning your content. So that is, oh great, Connie, I love to hear that. Thank you. Okay, so closing up, I want to talk about real quick, hopefully this connection sticks, about organizing all of these ideas that you just got, because I want you to be able to implement this. I want you to use it. I want you to be able, okay, again, we're back. Okay, so let's talk about organizing all of these ideas, because I want to make sure that you use and write them down, but you implement them. Remember those 3 things that I talked about at the beginning of this. If you're watching a little bit later, make sure you go back and get that, because there are 3 things I want you to hit with every piece of content. All right, so first, decide how many times you're gonna post per week. With Facebook's new algorithm, I actually recommend you post less. And so if you are posting more than 1 time a day, that's too much. Don't do that anymore, okay? Once a day is enough 3 to 5 times a week is more than enough on Facebook. Of course, I know you may have Instagram and Pinterest and different things, but think about how many times you post a week so you can start planning out how many posts that you need. From there, I want you to think about what content buckets you want to fill. So like for me, I said on Monday, I go for a motivation topic. So it's things that kind of motivate my audience or stories that I can tell them to kind of motivate them. Sometimes it's a quote, sometimes it's a tip to get them started on Monday morning. Tuesday is my tip day. And so I always share a tip on Tuesday. I skip Wednesdays. Thursday is my training day. And so I know I do this Facebook Live every single Fridays, I do a celebration post. So I either share a story of a success that I've had, I share a testimonial of somebody who's had success. So I like to call it Fri-yay. So how can I celebrate things? And then Saturdays, I will often post a personality post. I don't do it every Saturday. And Sunday for me is a sales Sunday. So I sell without selling my products that I sell on Sunday. So think about how many times a week you want to post. And Alyssa, yes, I do mean even on your business page, on your Instagram, if you do a blog, think about all of the places that you post content and how many times a week you want to do that so you can backfill that content. So next, I want you to organize those into consistent categories like I just talked about. And I want you to help your future self by providing yourself as much information as possible as you are planning your content. So what I do is I write out my posts and then I say, do I need an image for this? Do I need a link for this? Do I need a video